This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, president of the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, and award-winning author. And welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Lindsay Gordon. Lindsay is a career coach for analytically minded people who want to stop doing what they think is right in their career and start doing what is right for them. She helps people get clear about what's right for them in a job and why, confident about their skills and abilities, and able to communicate that to interviewers, managers, and colleagues. Lindsay started her career working as a recycled water engineer in Melbourne, Australia, before landing at Google doing technical support for the Google Apps team. After 5 years of technical support, she transitioned into career development at Google before starting her own business. She loves applying her engineering brain to helping people find careers that fit, baking complicated pastries, and barbershop singing. So without further ado, please help me welcome to my platform, Lindsay Gordon. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you. Of course, you know, all the crap we went through for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, trying to get this rocking and rolling. I'm excited that we're finally moving forward. So
yes, we made it.
So definitely can't wait to hear about your journey and what you've been accomplishing throughout the years and what you got going on, of course, current. So before we step into this, why don't you just tell my listeners a little bit more about who Lindsay Gordon really is?
Yes, so I have been running my business. It will be 6 years this year, and I'm sure we'll get into this more, but I completely fell into business.
Mm-hmm.
It found me, and the reason I'm a coach for analytically minded people is because I am quite unique in that I have an engineering degree, and that's not very common when you see that with career coaches. So that's why I talk about, a lot of frameworks and exercises and this analytical approach to thinking about your career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. When I was reading that, I was like, wow, that is a huge stretch. So I'm definitely excited to hear more about how you transitioned to it and why. So, and then of course, being a engineer that takes many, many years. So talk a little bit about your journey, about how you got there and why you chose engineering. And then when all of a sudden this change came to you and you decided you wanted to go on your own.
Loved engineering. I really enjoyed getting my degree. For me, engineering is hands-on. There's a lot of problem solving. You get to be working with, solving problems for end users. So I loved engineering and worked as an engineer as my first career. I'm on my third career. My first career was engineering, and I did that in Melbourne, Australia, as you mentioned, doing recycled water engineering. And when I moved back to the States, it was in 2009. So pretty much the worst to be looking for a job. I was applying for all kinds of engineering. I was applying in recycled water. I was applying in bioengineering because that's what my degree is actually in. But where I landed was at a contract position for Google doing technical support. Mm-hmm. And I discovered that I am one of the very strange humans that love customer service and loves technical support because it kind of combined that problem solving and that of engineering, but also getting to work with people. So I really liked it. And then kind of fast forward, I took on a lot of onboarding and training for our team at Google. I converted to a full-time employee and took on some onboarding and training. And people were really stressed about their career and saying, well, I don't know how to talk to I get stuck on this team forever, and how do I really think about career in the long term? So I was just talking to people in my spare time about career, and people said you would be a great coach. I had no idea what that meant. So I went and tested it out, found out I really enjoyed getting to learn the skill set of coaching, did that for a year and a half. And my purpose was to move to a more career-focused role at Google, but people started popping up and saying, are you taking clients? I have people to refer to you. So I was like, wait a minute, this is not the plan. I don't have plans to run my own business, So I luckily said yes. I tested it out on the side for a year. I really enjoyed it. And so in 2016, I said, okay, maybe I actually want to try this full time. And I feel like I had kind of de-risked the process by trying it on the side and trying it at Google. So I decided to do it, and kind of the rest is history. And I just really enjoyed the adventure of getting to run my own business.
Wow. Well, that is definitely an interesting story, because it's funny how we think we have our journey set for us, but obviously you're not in control, right?
Oh, yes. I have fallen into every career transition so far. I feel like that's a very common story of not knowing it's coming for you.
Right. But the thing is that, everything you've done has really, truly prepared you to do what you're doing, and like I said, when you realize that you had that epiphany of, oh my gosh, I really love this. I really understand this. And people are constantly coming to you, getting advice that says something about who you are, your personality, and the things that you were providing to people in order to lead you down this path even further. And it's funny how we think we, enjoy something, and it's nothing wrong with, wanting to have that great career, and, you're going through school and all those years that you've invested into, and then realize that here it is that everything that you have, and, not even just about basic common sense, but learning to love who you are, you're actually pushing that on to other people to realize how confident they can really be and understand who they are with their skill sets. And so that's the beauty about it, and really, you didn't even have to go to school for that, right?
Right. Correct.
But I think we learn, as business owners, we do learn, somewhere down the road in our path in life, that we have certain skill sets and we have certain specialties and desires, but we don't always know how to pull them out. And it usually takes that one person or that one thing, that one motion to make us stand out in a way that we never thought that we could. So it's really exciting to hear what you're doing, but I definitely want to hear what it is that you bring. How do you bring that confidence out in people? Because, especially today, people are kind of going through this roller coaster ride again. We all went through the pandemic, people were stuck for a while, but then some people excelled. And now we're kind of trying to figure out, are we going to be stuck where we're at? Can we make the moves we want to move? We obviously have been hearing there's 4 million people or more who are consistently say, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. I want a better career for myself. So what are you telling, and how do you get this confidence out of people?
Yeah. I think one of the most important things to note about this moment especially, but I think all time, is how much pressure exists about what our careers should mean to us, what we should want to do for work. There's so much that society tells us, that our family tells us, that our self-doubt tells us. And so part of my process is helping people quiet all of that external noise to really be able to know what is right for me. And I think that confidence for me and my clients is being able to make choices that are in line with what I know is important to me. So if I am clear about my values and what's important to me in life and how I want work to fit into that, if I am clear about where I get to shine and what strengths I have, if I'm clear about whether I want my meaning and purpose to come from work, because not all of us do, then I can make choices in line with that is actually going to work for me, regardless of what all the pressure and expectations are saying that I should be choosing about work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree with that. And I think, today, when people had the opportunity to really sit still for those 4 months or more and realize that they weren't as happy as they thought they were, we're constantly moving 100 miles per hour. And then we had the opportunity to stand still, reanalyze, and then they're thinking in their head, oh my gosh, I got to go back to this, this world of craziness, and then how do you communicate that with, the people that, you have responsibilities, you have to have, money because it's life, in order to take care of the things you need to take care of, but you still deserve to be happy. You still deserve to be able to use your skills and your abilities. So when you're dealing with these people, so for instance, you said you had many people saying, hey, are you coaching? Can you help us? What were they saying to you that really stuck into your mind that you really knew that you could do this to help people move forward and making decisions?
Yeah. I think one of the clearest things for me is when people say, I don't know what I want. And that is where I excel, as I mentioned, getting people clear about values and strengths and all of that. It's not actually a question of, what is the best career for me? Should I take this thing? Should I quit? It's actually not external. People are really looking for, can you help me listen to what I actually want? And I think that's something that we don't really get taught. And, a lot of the world is not really interested in us doing what's right for us and listening to ourselves and not listening to the pressure and expectations. So I think when people really want a way to be able to know what is right for them and be able to make those decisions that they are going to be happy with, that's when I'm like, yes, I can absolutely help you get more clear about that. It's not actually about the external job or, making the right or wrong answer.
Absolutely. And it's not even really all about the money, right? It's usually, we all start out that way. It's, I got to make the money. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then at the end of the day, are you really happy? And, and I think we're finding and hearing more and more stories about people who truly, they don't care about the money. They just want to be able to be happy. They want to be able to have their life and their careers and their families and, and just be able to live what we consider normal, I guess, instead of feeling like you're stuck in the cubicle every day or for hours, if you're not working this many hours, you're not doing a good job. There's that constant, like you said, pressure that people have been put into to feel like that they have to do this in order to be considered a good person, a good working person, a good employee. And that's how they rise in their careers. But we are learning every day that is definitely not the truth. There's so much more capability when people are more comfortable about who they are.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying, or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Yep, absolutely.
So talk to me and our listeners about, I want to hear a little bit about how you deal with analytical people, because, you know, being analytical, and I'm kind of one of those people, when we're analytical, we overthink sometimes. We have to make sure everything makes sense, things are aligned. So what do you tell that person who's overly analytical in their mind? How do they stop that? I mean, how do you really move that person forward? Because that's usually, when I was reading, it's like analytically minded people. That's got to be the hardest people in the world to deal with.
That's right. I'm inviting the analysis paralysis into my business. Yes. So I think people are calmed by the fact that I'm an engineer. Kind of the first step is like, okay, you get it, And I think what I do is, because I have such a structured process, they can kind of calm into it of like, okay, I'm going to trust this process. I'm being brought along. My thinking is going to be really structured. And I think it calms people to have this structure. So all of my clients go through the same 3-month process. There are very clear exercises. There are frameworks that we're building. There are spreadsheets that we're filling out. And so I think because I have put all this structure in, then they can kind of relax into like, okay, I'm going to answer the questions. I'm going to do the exercises. We're going to talk about it. And I think that helps people move forward. One other thing I think is always important is sometimes it can be so hard when we are trying to decide or see themes for ourselves. And so with working with somebody else, I can say, can I share a theme that I'm seeing? And you let me know if this resonates, but I'm seeing this and it connects here. And there's a really deep consistency between, the choices you made here and the values you're saying here. And so I think that can also help when we have somebody else reflecting back to us, somebody else responsible for finding those themes. I think you can get us out of like, oh my gosh, I have to find the answers. But, when it's running around in my own head, it's really hard to find those themes. So I think that's really helpful for the analysis paralysis as well.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But the thing I love to when I'm listening to your conversation, how you deal with people, is the fact that you're not trying to tell people that it's okay to have a job. It's okay that you want to have a career and move yourself up the ladder, so to speak, without telling them or saying, hey, well, you just might as well start a business for yourself so you can feel better about yourself. I think a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to be in business. Not everybody, needs to be in business. But I think that a lot of times, and especially today, because it is so much simpler and quicker to kind of be that overnight success, in business, people feel like they're almost forced to feel like it's not okay to just be a great employee, and have a great career. And, you're allowing them to, to have that ability to say, I'm good at what I do and I want to continue to do what I want to do. And it's okay to be that great employee, and it's okay to ask for what you want. And that's the thing that I like about your coaching, because you don't hear very many coaches do have that style of coaching. It's usually, one or the other, either you want to be in business or you want to do something else. And so it's good to see. This is refreshing, I guess, is the words I'm looking for.
Yeah. And one of the most interesting things to me is mostly everybody who comes to me is asking themselves the question, do I need to quit? And it's fascinating because more than 50% of people who work with me don't end up quitting. And I kind of love that there's so much that can happen with a mindset shift, with an understanding of your job and how it fits in with your values, fits in with your strengths, how it maybe honors what you need at this phase in life. I think we so often get the like, well, you should just quit and do your passion. But as you say, that is not right for everybody. So I like giving equal opportunity to, you can absolutely choose to stay, and let's, shift your mindset so that feels like a really, intentional choice for you. Or if it's time to move on, great, we can focus on that too. But I think that we get a lot of messages that like quitting is your only answer if you're unhappy at work.
Right. But I like what you just said, shifting your mindset. And that's the key. It's not so much about you not valuing who you are and knowing what you are, what your capabilities. It's truly being able, like I said, to kind of bring out that confidence of realizing, hey, I got to be able to communicate this so that people understand that I'm not just here to collect a paycheck. I'm here to do a great job and continue to, like I said, to move up that career ladder. And so, with you helping them change that mindset, and that's in everything that we do, whether it's personal or professional, we all know that when the mindset changes, it's much easier to move forward in whatever that goal is that you've set for yourself. So so definitely, enjoy the concept and what you're doing in your business. So now I want to dive into hearing about these complicated pastries. You are not going to get the slide from this one.
That's right. So I am somebody who has so many different interests. And as I said, I'm on my third career and I don't know how many more are coming for me, but I'm excited to, see what's next. And one of the things that I have always been drawn to, I love baking. Baking to me is engineering with food. It's complicated. It requires precision. It's, calculating different percentages and all of that complicated stuff. So I, when you're really good at something, people say like, oh, you should do that as a career. Right. And so many people had said that to me that I was like, I need to test this out. Do I actually want to do this? So there is a fantastic place called the San Francisco Baking Institute. And they let kind of homemakers join in on their professional classes. So they run a lot of bread classes, a lot of pastry classes, and they'll let you sign up and go basically be a professional baker for 5 days. It is one of the most fun things I've ever done. I had to get a baking jacket and, you bake from like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it is so much fun. So I decided I do not need to do it as a full job right now, but I treat myself once a year to one of these classes because I just love it. It is so much fun to me.
Wow. Well, look, don't let me see you, Lindsay, on the next level cooking show or something. I'll be like, I know who that is.
Wasn't she doing career coaching?
Right. So it's a career number 5. Okay. Here comes Lindsay. That's awesome. But you're absolutely right when it comes to baking, because I hate baking because you're right. It's very calculated. And if you make one mistake, it's like can ruin the whole beautiful piece that you're trying to put together. So that's definitely fitting for you. And of course, I'm going to ask you about the singing, the barbershop singing. So tell me where you're doing that at.
Yeah, this is something that I haven't been able to do in a little bit because it's, risky activity at the moment. But I love singing. I grew up doing musical theater. And I found this group of women. It's an international organization, and they do women's barbershop singing. And barbershop singing is 4-part harmonies. And I just absolutely love getting to sing with other women and making incredible harmonies. And I will say that if anyone is a barbershop person here, so I sing the baritone part, which is the low harmony. And it's so funny because it's kind of typecast that baritones are always like your engineers, your lawyers, your accountants, because it's like a very technical, it's basically the leftover note in the chord. So if I sang my part alone, it basically sounds like I'm tone deaf because I'm singing these like terrible sounds that complete the chord. So it's always like a joke that the analytical people are always singing baritone.
Well, you have definitely fell right into everything that you need to be in, okay?
That's right. Baking and baritone.
Exactly.
I'm typecast.
That's awesome. But I just think it's really cool that, you have the capability of just, like you said, knowing who you are, enjoying having the fun part of it, and teaching people how to basically let themselves go and be who they are, communicate it within themselves, know what they need to do. And that's the beauty about it. So I know we're joking about it. I just think it's really cool that you really honed into that, because it is the hardest thing in the world to do, is to hone into who we are and not criticize ourselves for who we are and what we do. And like I said, when you can change that mindset, it makes a world of difference to believe in yourself and just charge forward in what it is that you enjoy in life. And you are definitely the right person. You have the best personality for it too, Lindsay. Thank you. That's awesome. So definitely appreciate it, all this time that you're spending with me. But before we go, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. And tell me, what advice would you give somebody who has decided, though, that they do want to take a new journey of their skill sets and their abilities and turn it into a business? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would encourage them to find the right support for them, because I think running a business can be a lonely endeavor. You don't have the default office to go into. You don't have default coworkers. So I think really being intentional about what communities can I be a part of? How can I get support from other business owners? Do I need some co-working in my life? So getting that type of support. And then I think the reminder that I always need for myself is the reason we choose to run a business is so that we can run it the way we want to. Mm-hmm. But I will constantly be stuck in like, why am I just default working 9 to 5? Or why am I default, working in this way that doesn't actually work for me? So I think if you can continually remind yourself, like, you can run a business in whatever way you want, do it in the way that actually works for you and that brings you joy and that brings you the balance of life that you want to be doing. So, keep that question in mind. Am I actually choosing to run my business this way? And how could I run it to make it feel even better for me?
All right. That's an excellent answer. Thank you so much for that. Because it makes sense what you just said, being intentional. That's important. Yeah. And like you said, the first thing people will say was, I want to be my own boss. They don't realize how much work it goes into being your own boss and having those responsibilities. Even if you don't have, employees with you, you're responsible for everything. And that, takes
everything.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Exactly. We know.
Yes,
it's a whole different animal. Absolutely. But that was an excellent answer. But then what I would like to ask you too here is tell us, how we can get a hold of you. Let us know if you have anything going on that you want to share with us, because our listeners always love to hear some new great things.
Yeah. So the best place to reach me is at my website, alifeofoptions.com. And there's a bunch of fun resources and ways that you can learn about what I do. I would also love to connect on LinkedIn with anyone that is on LinkedIn. I share a lot of client stories about what it actually looks like to find a job that's a good fit. I love kind of the storytelling of being in business. So if you're on there and want to connect, you can connect with me. Again, my name is Lindsay Gordon and would love to chat there.
Alrighty. Well, I do again appreciate you coming tonight, because this has been excellent. I really enjoyed it, even though we had all those quirks in the beginning, but at least everything worked out. And what you're doing, I said, is phenomenal, and I really appreciate all that you have provided with us here on the show tonight. And of course, before I close out tonight's show, I always like to tell people, hey, we learned something great. We learned how to take care of our analytical mind this evening. And it gives you an opportunity to think about who you truly are and what's best for yourself. And of course, if you have any questions for me, you can reach out to me at any time at Kimberly@WSBILC@gmail.com. Let's have that chat about your dreams and turn them into goals. And of course, if you want more of your resource for success, you can donate and to support the podcast at any time through our Cash App or PayPal, or go directly to the website at www.WSBILC.com. And again, we would like to thank you all for listening to us tonight. And again, thank you, Lindsay, for coming on and joining us. And of course, we will be back next week with more amazing guests. Be sure to follow us on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. And good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.